Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the committee, for taking up this bill. House Bill 4834 and the identical Senate bill introduced by Senator Ananick in Senate Bill 462 deal with an extension of the statute of limitations for misconduct on the part of a public officer. The default within the statute is 6 years. This bill would extend that to 10 years. There are no retroactivity provisions of the included in this bill. And fundamentally, the bill is about making sure that we are able to hold public officials accountable. It's a very important bill, not only for my community within the city of Flint, but also I think it's good for the state as a whole. And the reason I bring this before you today is an issue that cropped up over the summer when the Solicitor General and Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy came into my district and presented about issue associated with the Flint water investigations and the dismissal of charges without prejudice, which means that they could then issue the charges again when they dismiss without prejudice. Essentially, what had happened over the summer is 20 million new documents had been found through the execution of search warrants. An additional 600 mobile and laptop and electronic devices were acquired, and those documents ranging from 1 to multiple pages in length. And as described in that meeting in front of the public, Prosecutor Worthy indicated that it's not appropriate to pursue a prosecution when you haven't reviewed all the evidence, which made sense from this layman's perspective, that you do need to review all the evidence before you pursue a prosecution. Now, the issue that we are facing is in April of 2014 is when the switchover occurred. So we are running up against the current statute of limitations. But this, misconduct is not an issue solely associated with the city of Flint. It also is a crime that we've seen convictions in other areas where there have been abuses of public power. For example, Strample, the dean of College of Osteopathic Medicine at MSU, was convicted under misconduct charges in the recent past. And there's going to be other times when this comes up. We just don't know what they are yet. So in this instance, when we're extending the statute of limitations to 10 years, I think we need to understand that these are crimes committed by government officials, and the wheels of government tend to turn slowly, as we all know. And so making sure that there's a significant amount of time so that when misconduct is discovered, it can be appropriately prosecuted, I think is important, not only for my community, but for the state. And so I hope that you will consider passing this bill to help us hold public officials accountable. And with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague.
Thank you, Representative Cherry, and thank you for introducing this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee for taking this up. It's always a pleasure to come back to the upper chamber with you nice, great fellow friends of mine on both sides of the aisle. Representative Cherry, I think, covered this topic very well. Obviously, this is extremely important both for my community, but for all of us across the state. There could be an argument made, and I think I could put that argument to rest, that it goes against the criminal justice reforms that we've been doing. But I think in those cases, these are allowing people to get their life back. When it comes to public officials, I think we should hold ourselves to a higher standard. And moving from 6 to 10 years in this case, I think is warranted both in the Flint case, but in other cases, as we're continuing to do the important work with the rest of criminal justice. So I think we have to look at things from both a 20,000-foot view and a micro view. And I think we would be succeeding in our goal in both if we take care of this specific issue around public misconduct, but also continue with the important work that we've all been doing together on criminal justice reform. So I hope you consider that as you're deliberating on this topic, and if we take a vote on it, I would love to have your support. Thank you.